Confidence, confidence, confident. I can be confident, confidence, confidence, confident. I can be confident at work.
Hello and welcome to the Confident at Work podcast. I am your host and your confidence coach, Anna Manning. And today I am very excited to be talking to you about the 7 skills you need to develop in order to grow and maintain your confidence at work. And if you're familiar with the work that I do and familiar with the podcast, you're going to recognize some similarities and some things that we've talked about before in this episode. But I've never talked about the topic quite like this. I've never framed the work that you need to do in terms of skills development. But I actually think that it's a really helpful way of looking at it. So I'm going to explain today how the 7 skills that I'm going to tell you about bridge the gap between a low confidence cycle and a high confidence cycle, where even if not everything goes right and not everything goes perfect, you maintain your confidence, you're able to maintain your sense of who you are and what you do and carry on. And this work, the 7 skills that I'm going to tell you about today, they are the skills that you need to develop to go from low confidence to high confidence. And I have spent a lot of time thinking about this. I've been working with professionals on their confidence since 2018, so a fair amount of time now. And I have learned a lot. I have spent probably a part of every single day during those years thinking about how I can help you to be more confident at work, thinking about the problems that you face and the challenges that you have, and thinking really deeply actually about how I can help you. And I'm quite excited about this one. So I'm going to take you through these 7 skills and I'm going to give you an indication, give you an idea of what might happen when this skill is low and what might happen when this skill is high. So when you've mastered this skill, what will be different? And in case you don't get to the end of the episode, I'm going to invite you now. So we are holding a free masterclass in January 2026. So if you're listening to this in real time, head to the show notes, click the link for the Confident at Work 2026 masterclass and sign up. Either come and join us live, it's going to be on the 28th of January, or get the replay in your inbox. And in that class, I'm going to go over that low and high confidence cycle. And I'm going to help you figure out the skills that you need to work on of those 7 skills. And I'm going to help you map out 2026 feeling more confident. You're going to leave understanding the work that you need to do, the areas where it's sticky now, and have a plan for how you're going to get into a high confidence cycle and stay there. So without further ado, here are those 7 skills. And the first one is to speak to yourself with respect. And this is a skill that many of us, maybe you included, have not developed. And for most people, it's a skill which you only develop if you're quite intentional about it. So what might this look like in practice? So let's say you're going to do something that you're a little bit scared about and you haven't developed the skill of respecting yourself and recognizing yourself at work. If you're on the way to do that scary thing and you have not developed this skill, you might be saying to yourself, oh my God, you're not going to sound good. They're not going to like you. You're going to be boring. You're crap. I don't know why you thought you could do this, right? Not respectful. The opposite of respectful versus when you have developed the skill of speaking to yourself and about yourself for that matter with respect. You may still be nervous when you're going to do this thing, but you're going to be noticing the effort that you've put in. You're going to be giving yourself a minute to recognize the preparation that you've done and maybe that you're pretty brave for attempting it. And you're going to be saying to yourself, I believe in you. You can do this. Come on. Respect and recognition is something that I know you definitely need if you are going to feel more confident at work. So that is the first skill that you have to acquire to speak to yourself with respect. The second skill is to trust yourself, to learn how to trust yourself. And when I say trust yourself, think your skills, your experience, your expertise. Trust that you know what you know and you can do what you can do. And if you haven't developed this skill, you might, for instance, ask 5 people for their opinion, rewrite the email again, wait for somebody else to validate your idea, second guess yourself 100 times before saying the thing that it is you think you should say. But when you have developed this skill, the skill of trusting yourself, you make the call. You send the email. You back your own judgment clearly and calmly. It saves hours of time and energy every week. You're no longer questioning, should I be here? Am I the right person for the job? Instead, when you've developed this skill, you're trusting that you are in your job for a reason. You're trusting that you're good enough, that you deserve a seat at the table, that you're here and you're going to go for it. A lot of people think that this skill is developed or this happens when everybody else believes in you. That's great. We want other people to believe in you. We want other people to trust you. But unfortunately, you still have to do the work to build this skill yourself. Otherwise, you have a glaring gap. Everybody else might trust you, believe in you, think that you're great, but you can still not be trusting you and second guessing, double thinking, overworking, over prepping because you don't trust yourself, your opinions, your decision, and your expertise. So this is a skill that you definitely need to develop if you want to feel more confident at work. The third skill is learning to be in the room and not in your head. And you might have noticed moments where maybe you're in a meeting, maybe you're presenting something, maybe you're having a conversation with someone, and you may be physically in the room or technically still on Teams, but you actually have disappeared into your head. Thinking, wondering, pondering, maybe worrying about how you're going to be perceived or what you're going to say, or is it right? How's it going to come out? You have left the room and you are now in your head. And in order to feel confident at work, you need to be able to stay in the room. And even if you do have a moment where you find yourself in your head, you need to notice that that's what's happening and be able to come back to the room. This is a key skill. And without this skill, you might be nodding along in the meeting, but inside you're spiraling into what did that sound like? Do they think I'm slow? Is this going to be 100% correct? When you acquire this skill, when you can be present in the room without spinning out in your head, you hear the question the first time, you follow the discussion, you have headspace. And with that headspace, you can think clearly. You can interject when you need to. You can offer an opinion. You can be calmer. You can be more focused. You can hear what's actually going on. And you've got the headspace to think and to contribute. It's very unlikely that anything that great lives in that spiral that you're doing inside your head. But something great could emerge when you're present and you're calmer and you are in the conversation. You're actually in the place that you are supposed to be. So that's number 3. Skill 4 is learning how to take care of yourself. This one's about emotions. Could be about physical stuff too, but generally I'm talking about emotions. Because that, I think, is a very underdeveloped skill for most of us. I see them teaching kids in primary school now, and I think they learn this kind of emotional soothing, supporting themselves, understanding what they're feeling, being able to articulate why, helping themselves to be with where they are and then, regulate themselves and get back in. I don't think that most of us who are adults now, who are professionals now, were really taught this. And I think that it is a necessary skill to feel confident at work. So without this skill, when emotions hit, big or small, you're probably going to be shoving them down, trying not to think about it, procrastinating, doing busy work like flipping around from one thing to another, eating biscuits, that's one of mine, losing track of tasks, losing track of your priorities, losing track of what you're actually trying to do. With this skill, you know what those emotional signals are that you're getting from yourself. You know when it is time to actually tune in and say, I'm feeling a certain kind of way. There is something going on right now that if I don't attend to it, it's actually going to derail my entire day. Most people will tell me I do not have the time to do that. And then when I do it with them live in a coaching session, it takes about 10 seconds. And if you can spot the sign of when emotion is needing to be attended to, or it's going to derail your day, your hour, your week, whatever, and learn how to spot that and work with it, you can do what you need to do for 5 minutes before getting on with the rest of your day. You can know that even when big emotions happen, and they're going to happen, you know how you can steady yourself and support yourself. A lot of people tell me I need to be like less emotional at work. I need to care less. Well, I don't think you necessarily need to be less emotional or care less. I think you need to be more emotionally skilled, learning how to take care of yourself and develop this skill of taking care of emotions is not fluffy. It supports your confidence and your performance. Skill 5 is learning how to set realistic standards. Very many of the people I work with will say, oh, well, I'm very hard on myself. I have very high standards. I'm very ambitious. I put a lot of pressure on myself. Oh, I would identify as a perfectionist. If that is you, just know that this is a skill that you will have to develop in order to feel more confident at work. Because when standards are completely impossible, nothing's ever done or done well enough. Every task might expand or take over. You're going to feel behind even when you're delivering. And even when the day went super well, if there was one little chink in your armor, it's going to be not good enough, which leaves you feeling exhausted, defeated, deflated, which we do not want. When you learn the skill of setting realistic standards, you can feel confident handing over a piece of work. You know the difference between good and never enough. Work can finish when you close your laptop rather than it still staying in your head and being there at 3 a.m. If you're doing something new or you're learning or developing in a particular area, you can give yourself a break for being a beginner, and actually that enables you to grow and develop a lot faster than if your standards are so unrealistic and you're so harsh on yourself. That's going to cripple you and stifle your growth. Confidence grows when your expectations are realistic. And here's skill 6, learning how to handle mistakes and failures. None of us like them. None of us want them to happen. We all wish that they didn't, but we also know that they always do. We talked about this on last week's podcast. If you want to be able to grow and maintain your confidence over the course of a career, you have to figure out how to handle mistakes and failures. And without this skill, you make one little mistake and then you might spiral for days. You're going to avoid taking risks, avoid putting yourself out there. You might be replaying the moment you said something that wasn't completely perfect or articulate at 3 a.m. With this skill, when there is a mistake, when there is a mess up, when there is a failure, yes, it might not still feel great, but you can take the learning, you can adjust, and then you can move on. Confident people do not make fewer mistakes. They recover faster. And that's the skill that you need to develop, recovering after mistakes and failure. Skill 7, our final skill, is learning how to give yourself fair feedback. We all want fair feedback from the people that we work with. But if you want to feel confident at work, you need to learn how to do this for yourself. Now, without this skill, you probably are only going to see what went wrong. You're probably going to ignore what actually went pretty well. And any self-assessment that you do is going to be weighted towards the negative. And for many people, that's really the only feedback that they're getting, especially as people get more senior. They don't get a lot of feedback anymore. So the feedback that they do get, or the feedback that you get, is the feedback that comes inside your head. I used to struggle with this one big time. I did not have the skill of giving myself fair feedback. And I see this one with clients all the time. When you have developed this skill, you can see the full picture. So not only what has gone wrong or what wasn't perfect, but the things where you've made progress, where you did well, where things went right. You can see the full picture. You can appreciate your strengths and know what they are, and know that you always, like everybody does, because we're all a work in progress, have areas for improvement. And you can be okay with that. Being able to give yourself this fair feedback, building this skill allows you to really maintain confidence. So when I see people not have this skill, the confidence is more like a yo-yo, right? It's going to go up and down. When you've developed this skill, you would probably give feedback to yourself the same way that you might actually give it to, a colleague or a member of your team. You'd be clear, you'd be balanced, you'd be respectful. That's it. That's the skill. So there they are, the 7 skills that you need to develop in order to build and maintain your professional confidence over the course of a career. And when you think about, or just think about this for a second for me, how many years do you reckon you're going to be working for? How many years? 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40? Longer? Probably a while. And learning these 7 skills is a very good use of your time, because they are going to pay dividends every single day, in the small moments, in the big moments. They're not only going to have an impact on your confidence, they're going to have an impact on your resilience, on your performance, on what you're able to deliver. They're going to have an impact on how well you feel while doing your job, how much you enjoy your job, the interactions that you have with other people, the opportunities that you say yes to, the things that you say no to, the promotion that you'll be able to achieve. And I don't know, but you might have some of these under your belt already. You might think, yeah, I've got that one, and I've got that one, and I've got that one, but I don't have those. Or you might be thinking, I haven't actually developed any of those skills yet. Well, my friend, welcome to the work. I'm going to be talking a lot about developing these skills and supporting you to develop these skills throughout 2026. I'm on a mission because I, for one, know that these skills can be developed. I've watched hundreds of people do it, and I've done it too. You, my friend, are no exception. And remember what I said at the beginning. These skills are the difference between being in a low confidence cycle and being in a high confidence cycle. Develop the skills and you will develop your confidence. So if you haven't already, head to the link in the show notes and click on the link to sign up for our January 2026 Confident at Work Masterclass. I'm going to be taking you through these skills. I'm going to be diving deep with you and helping you to understand where you're at the moment, what your current skill level is in relation to each area, and helping you notice the things that you need to develop in order to feel more confident at work. I want you out there in 2026 feeling way more confident than you did in 2025. Because when you feel confident, when good people are able to have the confidence to do good things, it's good for the world. It's good for your workplace and it's good for you. So come and join us in that class. If you can't attend live, you will get the replay in your inbox and you can join in with us that way. Finally, if you know that you want to come and work with me to develop your confidence in 2026, there is a link in the show notes to ask me about private coaching. Book a call if this is the year where you want things confidence-wise to change. All right. I will see you in next week's episode. Bye.
Confidence, confidence, confident. I can be confident. Confidence, confidence, confident. I can be confident at work.